Hey, good evening, guys. Late evening, somewhat. Well, not super late, but
later than
late for some of us old folks.
Yeah, later than we intended.
Yeah, which is okay. That's fine. So anyway, first off, thanks to everybody. Last week on our other channel, Adam and Anna, we got 500 views. Over 500 views. On a video, one of our comedy sketch videos, so that was cool as hell. Yeah, it's the most views we've ever gotten on a video. So
thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and we got a couple, like 3 more subscribers too, so that's cool.
Yeah,
we're sitting at 4 on this one, so we're gonna keep adding that up a little bit too. But also, I found out that it was also a year ago that we posted our first video on that channel, so it's 1 year anniversary.
1 year anniversary of being on YouTube.
Yeah. And, we haven't done much of this channel until the last, a couple weeks and all that. We were planning on doing one last week, but we got, had a lot of other stuff going on. I was also fighting allergies.
Super with it.
Yeah, so we're both take 2. We're both fully vaccinated as well. I got my second dose. The only thing that hurts is my arm now, but it's okay. Anna only smacked it about 10 times yesterday. Not hard though. Anyway, but what we had planned on doing this. If you remember, we did a few weeks ago. We did kind of a revamped Birds of Prey movie, kind of tied in with Gotham City Sirens as well. Yeah. And that time, Anna had a nice detailed list on paper, and I just kind of rambled. Make a better movie. I really didn't add anything to the conversation except rambling. So this time we collaborated. We decided last week we kind of got everything together. So we could do it this week. And
this is an entire rework. Rework may be a strong word, but
it's a little bit of like just
restructuring. Restructuring, that's a good one.
Because there's a lot of good stuff.
Of phase 1 of the DCEU.
Yes, basically building to Justice League.
Yes.
And basically what we're doing with the reworking is there may be a few recastings here and there.
Not too many.
Not too many, just a few. Yeah. Maybe a few additional characters that we casted and things.
And sorry to interrupt. And we'll say when those are happening. We'll say that as we go through. If we don't say, then you can just assume it's the same actor.
Yeah, exactly. But we're just trying to make this kind of a series, and this would be part 1 of this. So we'll probably work on phase 2 for another week. In addition to that, to celebrate not only being fully vaccinated and being 1 year on YouTube and the 5 reviews, we're also going to be doing a wine review while we're doing this.
Yeah!
Because what better way to talk about the DCU and reworking this thing
than alcohol.
Getting alcohol and drunk. That's the way things should be.
Okay.
So why don't you pull up the wine first before we start this review?
This wine, once again, for anyone who's seen our previous wine reviews, this wine once again comes to us from Bright Cellar. And this is, let's see if we can be seen here, this is a Sunshower Riesling. Columbia Valley is a winery right here in Washington. Not too far away from where we live, actually. I think it's like a...
Perhaps when this thing kind of becomes over, we can go there.
Yeah, 10-15 minute drive from where we live. Yes. So this is I bet you are because fun factoid: Riesling white wine is Adam's favorite.
It is. I actually tried it many years ago because I watched the movie Sideways, and at one point, he's very big on Pinot Noir in the movie. But he also said he likes Rieslings. I'm like, I was at a restaurant one time and they had Riesling on the menu. I'm going to try this, and it's a sweeter wine. And I was like, I really like this. So anytime I would go out after that, I would have Riesling.
All right, so this is a semi-sweet style of Riesling. This wine is balanced beautifully with bright acidity and ripe flavors of tangerine, pear, peach, and lychee alongside notes of jasmine.
Oh, very nice. Yes. I like most of all those things.
Yeah.
That's good. And speaking of beautiful, this is my hair. Enjoy it now because now that I'm fully vaccinated, I'm going to
we're going to be getting some haircuts. I've got mine all up right now, but it goes down to
this is the longest my hair has ever been.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Beard too, but.
So that is our Riesling. I'll go ahead and pour the glasses. Keep the folks entertained as I do that.
Yes, I will.
Here's the bottle.
Most people, as soon as they heard we were doing a wine review, like, oh, they tricked us. We thought this was going to be
We'll get there. We'll get there. We promise.
Yes, there's the wine.
This is the bottle.
Glorious wine.
All right. And...
But yes, we are very excited about this because, obviously, the one thing, to set this up a little bit, you know, say what you want about DC or Marvel, whatever the case. One thing about the MCU definitely had is a well thought out plan. So some movies here and there had some mistakes, and maybe we'll do a video about that sometime. But basically, you kind of knew where, like, okay, this is building to this, building to this, building to this, and then we have the Avengers. So I think that's where DC definitely got off track and then tried to shove all these things into one movie or two movies, and that's where we get a little bit bloated and things like that. So we're just trying to fix some things here and there that, you know, needed.
Yeah, one of those things where hindsight is 20/20.
Right. Yeah. And DC, their problem with DC is they're so like, we gotta catch up to Marvel because and it's like, no, calm down.
Yeah.
It's like it's okay to take your time.
Yeah.
Fans will be patient.
I feel like they've relaxed.
A little bit, but they're still making a lot of weird choices. But
they are, but I do think they've relaxed a bit since 2016.
They have. All
right, let's
just need to focus on making good movies. So anyway, let's take a quick sip of the Riesling, and then we'll dive into this madness.
Here we go. I think that's slightly more than a tasting serving, but who cares?
Screw it!
In our super festive Christmas wine glasses.
Now that is a tasty Riesling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is a really nice spring wine.
Yes.
It's
definitely
very fruity. I can definitely taste the pears and the peaches.
Absolutely.
It smells good.
Smells good. Yeah, it's not like one of those bitter
It's really
wines.
light too.
Yeah, it's light. Doesn't sometimes wines can occasionally burn your throat a little bit if they're really, you know, bitter. And
no, this is actually
I
quite...
like the last one we had was a little bit.
This is quite it doesn't do.
This
the
is
burn
very
at all.
refreshing.
This is a very refreshing wine.
Yes, indeed.
This is a wine that gets you drunk sneaky.
That's true. It's like the mixed drinks that are like, oh my god, this is so yummy. This Long Island iced tea is delicious.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, dancing on the tables. I don't know. So
yeah, this is really good.
Yes, I would give this a 5.
I would give this
rating.
a 5. It is the highest rating.
That's getting a 5.
We have a little rating
on
our card here.
And then they, you know.
And yeah, this is definitely getting a 5.
So what is the company that sends this?
Bright Cellar.
Bright Cellar. We want more Riesling.
Yes.
More and more Riesling.
More Riesling.
Keep getting us drunk. We have many things to fix here. All right, so let's get into. Now we've checked out the wine. This has been the wine portion. We're still going to sip and enjoy our wine, but so our repurposed DCEU. Now I'm not going to set like originally the way I was looking up how the original timeline was, and it was like Man of Steel in 2013, and then we didn't get another movie till 2016.
Yeah.
So fuck that.
Yeah, we're kind of tossing the original timeline out the window in order to make things fit.
You just got to make things fit a little bit
the way we want them to fit.
Okay. So, we're also going against the usual thing that DC does, where it's like, fuck, do a Batman movie, fuck, do a Superman movie first.
There's a lot of F-bombs.
Oh my god, what if the children are watching us drink alcohol? I never actually say that videos are made for kids, so we're fine.
Okay, all right.
We're not getting monetized. No one's paying us, so we're good.
But
videos for fun.
yeah, so
anyway, we will be starting
with what is probably DC's
their strongest film.
Still their strongest film, Wonder Woman.
Yes.
That is how we are going to kick off the DCEU.
Because
Wonder Woman.
It was long enough that we had to wait for a Wonder Woman film. There were TV show ideas or other things like that throughout the years and scripts that came through and never...
never materialized.
And it's like, if you guys could take a chance on the Green Lantern movie, which it didn't work out, but at least take a chance on Wonder Woman, for God's sakes.
Yeah, she's a viable commodity.
Yeah.
And it's the first Wonder Woman movie ever, so...
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely a demand for it, and it was a very good movie.
Yeah.
It still is a good movie.
It still is. And I would say, really, we really didn't make too many changes. Gal Gadot's still Wonder Woman. Patty Jenkins can still direct and all that stuff. We're not doing too much on the directors so much. I'm not trying to...
and there's... Yeah, I think we decided not to change anything, actually.
Except to make... Yeah.
Go for it.
Except to make Ares look a little bit better. Because that was that was the only real point where I'd say it was a little bit weak, was just that you had this big fiery monster, but then you still had the guys, little British face on
Yeah.
there. And it was just like, that looks really
that
cheesy.
looks really bad. And
Patty Jenkins argued against that.
Yeah,
too.
That
looks stupid.
Yeah, that was a WB decision. Patty Jenkins has gone on record saying that is not what she wanted. That she told them at the time that it would look dumb. They didn't listen to her, and guess what? It looked dumb.
Right. Now, at some point, maybe in another phase, we'll fix some of the problems with Wonder Woman 84, but that's for another video.
Yes.
So yes,
So
Wonder Woman basically stays the same. Hopefully, it has the same commercial success that it did. People seem to like it overall.
Yeah.
A good launching pad for Gal Gadot. Now, I understand, like, when they want to start things, like, they usually want to go with a bigger star, or, like, oh, they do that. But fuck that. We're taking risks here.
We're taking risks.
I don't want them cursing so much. I'm drinking.
Yeah, they have Chris Pine.
Yeah, they got Chris
He's a
Pine.
name.
Yeah, exactly. And their chemistry's good, so that's a good
So, we're good.
So,
all right.
Wonder Woman, check down the list.
Done.
Launching the DCEU. I'm already.
He just drew a gigantic check mark.
Check mark. All right.
All right. So next next
The
film.
next book on the
Flash.
We're gonna get the Flash, the second movie, because the Flash has been delayed.
So much.
And it's just
years.
like, why, guys?
Ezra Miller is going to be an old man by the time this movie comes out.
It's like, this isn't that hard. It's the Flash. You literally have a TV show on. You don't have to do the exact same thing they're doing, but like, you have at least some template to go with.
Yeah. And the show is success, like it brings in ratings, so there's a viable audience there.
Yeah.
Now I don't think we didn't make any real plot decisions for this movie because we have no basis for it. Because
that's true. Unlike the rest of the movies on this list,
has not come out yet.
We don't actually have anything to be like, well, this is what we would have fixed, or we're taking this out or recast it. But so basically, the things we did keep. We are going to have Captain Boomerang be the villain because we're not going to go with the obvious Reverse Flash Doctor's thing because that's build that up. He's this Joker villain.
And it also helps us tie into a later film that we will be talking about in a few minutes,
which Captain Boomerang also appears in. But this is a nice, simple first test for the Flash.
Yeah.
And what we would also do, a lot of the character stuff that you saw in the Snyder Cut version of Justice League, we would have
it would happen here.
Yeah. Stuff with his father, Iris West's introduction, and obviously she'd have more to do than just that one little scene, obviously.
But all that character stuff would be happening here in his own film. Yeah. And the tone of it, I think, would be just, albeit like a few dramatic moments, but ultimately very lighthearted. Because that would be a nice balance from World War I that we got in Wonder
and I think
Woman.
it needs to kind of have that sort of, he's learning his powers a little bit. He's, getting used to it. And I think, while I do definitely like the current idea of having the multiverse thing and all that, we don't want to start with the multiverse.
Yeah,
so
that's
we're not
too much. That is way too much to introduce in what this would be the second film.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have to rush, guys. We don't have to rush.
You want to get into the cameos?
Oh, yes. And cameos, we will introduce Victor Stone and Dr. Cywus Stone as well, because Dr. Cywus Stone works at Star Labs.
In Central City.
Exactly. So there'll be, Victor Stone won't be Cyborg yet.
Yeah, this will be pre-Cyborg.
A little cameo there. So rather than just having what they did in Batman vs. Superman, where they just show, a random thing of him, we'll actually, get a little backstory for him.
Yeah. Not even,
just to get introduced to this character.
Yeah. A taste.
Yeah, much like if you watch Thor and Hawkeye's there,
Yeah.
He doesn't do that much, but he's there.
But he's there.
You're like, there's Hawkeye. Oh, there's Black Widow and Iron Man too.
And at some point, again, we're not getting into the plot, but at some point, this film would introduce Flashpoint. And then there would be, at some point, like a Flash from the future who just runs in randomly and is all like, I'm too soon, and he runs off because that's something that happened in Batman v Superman, and just thought that's kind of a funny running gag where he's like trying to find the right point to get to in the past, and he keeps messing it up.
Have some good humor in there and stuff like that, because the Flash is kind of that type of character anyway.
Right.
All right.
So that's the Flash. That's our second.
Yeah, that should be a fun movie, and hopefully people like it and stuff. I always feel like Flash sort of has, sort of a little bit of that Spider-Man quality. Now, Barry Allen, Wally West was more the quirky
he's more the quirky one.
But, it's okay. Yeah. Characters get adjusted in movies and stuff like that. That's fine. Okay, cool. So, then we will do Man of Steel.
Second class.
Oh, look at this girl go. It is pretty good.
It's a very good wine.
It really is.
This is a very, very good wine. I highly...
Very tasty.
Anywhere you happen to see Sunshower Riesling, get you some.
Okay.
All right, so
Man of Steel, this will be the one that we have...
This is a Superman movie.
Made the most adjustments to.
Is it?
I think so far, because Wonder Woman we had one change. Flash we just kind of laid out a plot. Batman we're laying out a plot. Mm-hmm. So I mean, really, this is the one.
All right. So number 3 is the Superman film, Man of Steel.
Yes. Title's fine. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay, so we decided to make a little bit of a switch on the villain.
Yes.
Now Zod is a great villain and stuff like that, but for a first Superman movie, we felt like maybe a little too soon.
Yeah, you don't want to waste your Zod too quickly,
right?
Which I felt the original Man of Steel did.
Yes,
he's a great. Also, you never had him say kneel before Zod.
Yeah,
a waste.
Is that something he says in the comics a lot too, or?
I can't remember. I feel like that's a Golden Age thing, but it's such a great line.
It is.
It's such a great line, especially that moment in. Sorry to get off topic a little bit. Superman 2, where the president's all like, "Oh my God," and he's like, "Zod."
Yeah, Terrence Stamp. Hell
yeah.
Yeah. So we actually decided to go a little different route.
Mm-hmm.
Zod's still kind of in the background there. He's not introduced, but he's basically sending.
Yeah. We know. Yeah.
We're going to introduce Lobo.
Lobo is going to be our villain.
Yes. And he will be played by Danny Trejo because he looks like the character. It's kind of like, And yeah, he's a bit older, but it's Lobo. Who cares?
Yeah, for those who don't know, Lobo is basically an alien assassin for hire. Mm-hmm. He's not quite as powerful as the Kryptonians, but he's up there. Oh, yeah. And he has his weapons to help balance things out. Mm-hmm. And so our idea would be that Zod hired Lobo to assassinate Clark Kent.
Yes, definitely. All right. The next thing on our list would be we actually will do our Martian Manhunter cameo tease here.
Mm-hmm. Since he's already in that movie.
Yeah, he's already there. He's played the general that's in there is the actor. Mm-hmm. Harry Lennox is his name. He actually is, in the Snyder Cut. If you haven't seen it, then, well, spoiler, I guess. Basically, there's a little scene where he shows up, and he's Martian Manhunter, and the scene is kind of corny, but it's cool to see Martian Manhunter.
Yes.
But there's also an earlier scene where he's disguising himself as Martha Kent. Mm-hmm. We won't do that here. What we'll do is we just show him, morphing kind of into Martian Manhunter.
Maybe he plays a role in springing Clark free of the compound or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But yeah, anyway, the Martian Manhunter reveal happens in this movie.
Yeah, because Martian Manhunter is a great freaking character too.
Yeah, and he deserves on.
And I liked if you remember Smallville, he had some interactions with Clark as well. So I think there's a place for it. We would still have the LexCorp tease. No Lex Luthor yet. Lex Luthor. Oh no!
No, Lex Luthor.
Super Raw Saturday.
Lex Luthor will not be appearing in this film, but his presence will be hinted at.
So much like they did in the movie itself, and what they did in Amazing Spider-Man with Oscorp. Let's kind of tease it there. We already mentioned Logan's working for Zod, assassinate Clark. Yes. Plot is similar, as Anna wrote, less edgelord darkness. Now, I would say it's kind of. We were talking kind of like a balance between your Christopher Reeve Superman and a little bit of Superman Returns without the boring shit.
Yes, but basically something that's darker than the film that we saw previously, The Flash. Not that sort of lighthearted, because Superman does have his issues.
Of course.
But not something like the Man of Steel we got was so bogged down in dark, edgy, dark, grim, and that's not Superman to me, and I don't think that's Superman to anybody really.
Right.
He can get dark, but that's not his baseline.
Yeah.
Like it is with characters like Batman or Daredevil or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think that does him a disservice to tone his movie so darkly.
Agreed.
So.
Also. Clark will not be murdering Lobo. No.
Yes. Clark Kent will not be murdering anybody. Because Clark Kent is not a murderer.
Yeah.
Superman does not kill people just willy-nilly. That's not his thing.
It has to be a reason why, it has to build up to a big momentous moment that he has to do that, because that's the thing. He's supposed to be kind of the Boy Scout, you know.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that he has to be boring either.
No.
You know, he's definitely yeah. I think that's the thing. A lot of
lawful
people
good
like.
characters should not be boring.
Yeah, exactly. And in a little mid-credits scene,
yeah, like a teaser for the next film,
we would have Bruce Wayne cameo, sort of setting up our events for Batman vs Superman, which will be happening later.
Yeah.
So that's sort of just a little bit of a vision of like, okay, what's this guy up to? Like, he's watching him and talking to him. And that will lead us into the Batman movie, which we're just calling Batman right now because
we're on creative.
we don't know the hell. Well, because our main thing is that we are going to have Deathstroke be the villain as Ben Affleck intended, and yes, Ben Affleck will still be playing. Oh yes, and yes, Henry Cavill still Superman in this movie as well.
Yeah, like we said before.
Unless we've simply mentioned it, but I just wanted you to know
it's still the same actors.
Yes. So yeah, we were trying to think of like because I know the Deathstroke started off as a Teen Titans villain, and then he's kind of gone into a Batman villain, so it's like I don't have a full-on knowledge of like a specific like, oh, this is that story. Like it's not like saying The Law on Halloween or something like that.
Yeah.
We know specifically what characters are involved. But my thought would be that maybe like, you know, Deathstroke. We think about the scene, another mid-credit scene, where Lex Luthor's on the boat and Deathstroke shows up, and then he basically in the Snyder Cut he gives him his real name.
Yeah, he gives him Batman's identity.
Yeah. Which gives him the chance. I kind of feel it's almost without being Kraven's Last Hunt. It's kind of in the similar vein.
Deathstroke's Last Hunt.
Yeah, it's a similar vein. Like he's going to be after Batman. It's not so much for the thrill of the hunt thing, but it's that kind of Deathstroke. Yeah, personal thing. Yeah.
But yeah, also the idea is that all those Bruce character scenes that were happening in Batman v Superman because it was our first time seeing the Batfleck. Yes, they will be happening in this movie.
Yeah.
Minus Tom and Martha dying.
Which is much love
to other way.
Sorry.
Because that has been done to death on celluloid. So we won't be doing that.
No,
so
honey, that's the wrong way.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, we did that.
We just covered all that.
Down.
Cool. All right.
Enjoy the wine. Anyway,
so
so let me go back. With all respect to Jeffrey Dean Morgan and the lovely and talented, I like her damn name. That's
Lauren Cohen.
Lauren Cohen, yes, from Walking Dead. We might find a place for you later. Maybe the Flashpoint movie happens. We can do it. Yeah.
But not this movie. Like,
I feel like we need to kind of,
that.
you know, you can acknowledge it, you know, but like I feel like this is also a Batman who's been around for a while, been through some stuff. It's kind of like.
This is not the thing that is most pressing on his mind at this point in his life.
Exactly, yeah.
What is, however...
Yes. Okay. Well, we already have, Deathstroke has personal vendetta. You know, we said that already.
Yeah,
we'll have more Bruce and Alfred scenes together.
That really should be like the main focal point relationship.
Yes, agreed.
In the film.
Agreed.
But the thing that is most weighing on our middle-aged Bruce Wayne's mind is the fairly recent loss of Jason Todd.
Yep.
Who was murdered by the Joker and Harley Quinn.
Yep.
So he's in between Robins at this point.
And what we're going to do, guys, because we also know that coming up we have the Batman with Robert Pattinson. So when we were doing this, we were kind of like, well, do we just go with Robert Pattinson right here and there, or do we do something else later? But
what should we do with him?
So we decided we're going to make him Nightwing.
Yes,
which
Dick
some
Grayson.
people are like, oh, you don't like that, but you know, I just think it's the easiest way for what is to come to just kind of tweak around a little bit with who's playing what roles.
And I think he'd be good at it.
I think he'd be fine, yeah. And the thing with Dick Grayson is there are times when he steps up to be Batman as well in the comics. So you know, definitely.
He's a cool character.
He is, yeah. It's Dick Grayson, and I think we would definitely still play off some of the tension between them because obviously, you know, that's why he goes off and becomes Nightwing to get out of Batman's shadow and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, so there's. Obviously, will be tension. He'll be more of a feature too. He won't just be a quick cameo. He'll be, you know, fleshed out well.
Yeah, he'll have some sort of important role to play in the film's climax.
And then we have a stinger here where Bruce will get his point of view of the Superman Lobo stuff. Start investigating the Superman, setting that Batman vs Superman movie in motion.
Yes, setting that up.
Yep. And then we also have a Joker and Harley tease as the Jason death tie-in. But
they're not
appearing in the movie, but they're
hinted at.
Yes,
because they're the ones who killed Jason.
Right. Okay, so that completes Batman. Then what we get into is Dawn of Justice. Now, are we still calling this Batman vs. Superman, or are we just calling it Dawn of Justice?
Well, the full title on release was Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Right.
I kind of prefer calling it Dawn of Justice, just because it's like we just met these characters. Why are they already fighting each other? Sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Now, on the other hand, is the fact that Batman versus Superman, just that title alone, is going to bring in a very large certain audience. So I don't know. You decide.
You let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, the plot is similar, but not a 3-hour movie.
Right.
Our villain is Lex Luthor, and this is one of our first recastings, because no offense to Jesse Eisenberg as an actor, he was directed a certain way. I think he would have been okay if he didn't act the way he did. Because the thing about Lex Luthor is he's calculating.
Yeah.
But he's not
he's not
out there. He's not the Joker.
He's not this quirky sort of person.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not who he is.
Right. And it was
also weird. And this is very shallow of me to say, but Jesse Eisenberg does not look good bald. You kind of have to be able
to
also
not very
pull off either. That bald pate,
because
Lex.
I think with Lex Luthor too, you need to kind of have that. He doesn't have to be like super built or anything like that, but there has to be kind of that. This guy knows what he's doing with his mind.
He's in control.
He's in control.
Whenever you look at him, you have to even though he's like basically a badass normal human, on an even lower tier than Batman is. Yeah. He controls any situation. He controls every room he walks into. Like, the level of control that he has to project is immense.
Absolutely.
And you kind of need a slightly older actor to pull that off anyway.
Yeah. So,
excuse me.
We actually decided to go with the I'm drinking. The obviously talented Michael C. Hall, who was someone I think people had fan casted many times anyway.
Yeah.
On different roles and stuff.
And he's also about in the same age range as Henry Cavill.
And if you've never seen Dexter, watch it, because he's amazing.
Yes. And I've always liked the idea of Superman and Lex Luthor being peers rather than one being lots older than the other.
Agreed.
So
cool.
Yes, Michael C. Hall will be our Lex Luthor for the evening.
So the other thing that we are cutting is the Doomsday thing. Since we didn't have Zod, there's no reason to have Zod's body, and that's not how Doomsday comes anyway.
Yeah.
However, we will be still leading in with the what we're going to do is Lex Luthor is going to build Metallo to destroy the heroes and stuff like that. Yeah. And yes, Wonder Woman will be still appearing because it's friggin' Wonder Woman.
And she was so cool in Batman v Superman.
It was, yeah.
Why ruin that?
Yeah. We don't want to keep
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And then we will have an Aquaman tease because he's the only character yet that hasn't been teased. We considered teasing him in Wonder Woman, but we thought it might have been a little too soon.
Yeah.
So we said, well, we'll just keep his tease here, and he'll get more fleshed out in Justice League. And then we're gonna have another Future Flash, it's too soon moment with Bruce.
Basically what was in the movie.
What basically happened, yeah. Shorter movie, tighter pacing, which was one of the big criticisms. Mostly of the theatrical cut, but even with the Ultimate cut, there were still some pacing issues here and there. Yeah. Also, some more focus on Clark, because it definitely felt like
it was very Bruce heavy.
The thing about that, or at least the theatrical cut especially, and it's because they were stuffing so much in, that's what I was talking about before, to get up to Justice League, is that you had it was almost like 5 movies in one. Because you had Superman, you had Batman, you had Lex Luthor, you had setting up the Justice League, you had Wonder Woman, and then Doomsday's here, and then it's like...
Yeah, there was so much going on.
And that doesn't mean you can't have a decent amount of characters in there, but you have to have...
you gotta balance it. And you can't overstuff the film.
So we still end with Superman's death. Metallo will be the one to kill him and the sacrifice and all that stuff. We'll have a stinger foreshadowing a Justice League and a Suicide Squad, which will feature Amanda Waller So that will give us our tease into Suicide Squad. So as you can see, guys, each movie pretty much teases something into the next one. Sets up a future movie. So the way you should do things, so that way you connect things, and then it makes freaking sense. So, all right. So Suicide Squad plot is similar, except not stupid. Yeah. Some characters for the squad. Same basic characters for the squad.
We're not, because in the comic books, the Suicide Squad members are constantly rotating because they're constantly dying.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're gonna stick with the originals that we saw in the film.
Yeah, and basically the same deaths too.
Yeah.
We will have a tease that Killer Croc dies, but then he'll just kind of pop up at the end as, a little...
Yeah, like a post-credit stinger. Just peeking out of the sewer. Just a funny moment, Peeking out of the sewer, like, everything around him is burning and being all like, nope.
Exactly, yeah. Because I liked Killer Croc in the film.
They needed to give him more to do. That poor actor.
I know, right? Especially with all that makeup, man. That's...
Golly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so what we did actually do, before we get to the recasting...
Okay.
So, yes, I know this is going to maybe upset certain people. Joker will not be appearing in the movie proper. And that means in the main part of the film. Just because those scenes kind of distracted away from things, and it just was like, if he's not going to be the villain, then just, what's he there?
Why is he here? Yeah. He's too, say what you will about the Jared Leto Joker, but... The Joker character in general has too much presence around him.
Yeah, because everyone's like, where's the Joker? Where's the Joker?
To just be like a supporting character.
Yeah.
So, either utilize that or don't bring it.
Now he'll show up still in the stinger to bust Harley out.
Yes.
But we are going kind of with the thing of Joker and Harley have already broken up.
Yes.
But then everyone just has the thing of don't mention the J word.
Yeah,
and then when someone does,
she freaks out.
Yeah.
But and then in the stinger, when he comes to bust her out, there's this implication that they're getting back together, which then sets up like Birds of Prey, where
City Sirens.
Gotham City Sirens, where he dumps her.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the film.
Yeah. We didn't actually really kill too many more people, so we already talked about that. We already
talked about that.
Okay.
Oh, Enchantress.
Yes, so we are going to recast Enchantress.
Yes.
Nothing against the actress.
Cara Delevingne.
She's more of a model, and she should probably stay a model.
Also very young. I think she was 21 when they shot that.
Super young, too.
And Enchantress, in the comic, she's... June Moon is an archaeologist with, I think, at least 2... PhDs in her field.
Yeah, unless you're a child prodigy, you're not going to have 2 PhDs by 21.
At 21, yeah. You need an actress, in her 30s.
Yeah.
So, we went with...
Eva Green. Because Eva Green has a great presence, has played villains before, and if she's going to be your main villain focus here, that's also why we don't want the Joker taking attention. Is that Eva Green would be someone who could command the string a lot and really feel like a threat.
Yeah.
So yes, Enchantress's power will work space-time hole that will allow Steppenwolf to emerge into our next movie.
Yes.
Justice League. Oh, and also with Superman's death, that will start the
that'll start.
Boxes.
Yes. Basically this way, the Dawn of Justice climax helps set up Justice League, and the Suicide climax helps set up Justice League, so they don't feel just like random events.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
And even then, that way, there's this idea that just one hero couldn't completely fix the problem, or just 2 heroes couldn't completely fix the problem, or just this random ragtag group couldn't completely fix the problem. That's why we need a Justice League.
Before we get to Justice, I need more. I need more of this lovely wine.
I know, right? It's really good.
It is really good.
Let me not say
that. That's fine. That's fine. That'll be good. Yeah. All right. So now, the final part of Phase 1 here. Okay. Justice League. All right. Now we're aiming more for a lot more of the stuff that was in the Snyder Cut. Obviously, some stuff we're not going for a 4-hour movie.
Right.
As cool as that was for HBO Max, and it was a nice thing to watch.
We can't have a 4-hour movie. That's crazy.
And obviously, with certain things that were already set up in certain movies, we don't need to. We don't need to.
Because those character beats already happened in previous films.
All right. So, as you saw in the film, there was a flashback scene with Green Lantern. We never got anything more with Green Lantern. I did hear that the original thing with the Martian Manhunter cameo was supposed to be a Green Lantern, but they wouldn't let him use Green Lantern for some reason. So, well, screw that.
Yeah.
We're having a green... What?
Yeah, sorry. Just to interject quickly, we are cutting the nightmare sequence from the epilogue. That is not happening. Yeah. That's just too much. And so basically the Green Lantern cameo is not related to Bruce had
I just happen to be hanging out here.
And I'm hanging out creepily outside your mansion. So it would be some sort of different setup. Where
something that shows off his powers.
Yeah, something that makes Green Lantern look like a real badass.
Yeah, and we wanted to find someone who is the right age range. We are going with Jon Stewart.
Yes.
And we actually are going with an actor named Lance Reddick. He has great eyes and like a presence on his face. He was on The Wire, and he's been he's a character actor, been in a lot of films.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
If you really want to go back, and it was a very bit role, but Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, he plays the teacher that tells them, you were talking to that entire woman's presentation. You know? That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Octavia Spencer's in that movie too.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. But yeah, so we're going with Lance Reddick making a cameo appearance in The Stinger as Jon Stewart's Green Lantern.
Yeah, and which will, of course, will lead up to a Green Lantern Corps movie later. So plot will be very similar to the Snyder Cut, minus a few things here and there. Obviously, the movie will be shorter, not as short as the Whedon Cut. But it'll be a little shorter, so we get things. Character scenes will have appeared in previous films, except Cyborg and Aquaman, because
we're meeting them for the first time.
We are meeting them, yes. We met Victor Stone, but we hadn't met him as Cyborg. So Cyborg will still remain the heart of the film, because that was a very awesome part of the Snyder Cut.
Very well played by Ray Fisher as well.
Yes, exactly.
And, that deserves to be maintained.
It does, yes, especially after the way they treated Ray Fisher. And Gal Gadot and several others.
Jeez Louise.
So Anna here had a thing that she wanted to keep one Whedon cut scene.
Yes, one.
Just one.
Just one.
And that's basically Bruce's midlife confession to Alfred.
There's a scene in the theatrical cut of Justice League, and it was the only scene from that film that I felt that was missing from the Snyder cut. And there's a scene where Bruce is kind of like sitting by himself. I want to say in his jet or
probably
someplace. And Alfred comes over to talk to him, and Bruce has this kind of cathartic moment of, I'm in my 40s dressing up as a bat fighting crime. What am I doing with my life? I can't do this forever. Right. It's a very nice, very humanizing moment for Bruce Wayne.
Certainly.
And so I think it's important that it stays, because one of my biggest criticisms, I feel the Snyder Cut is vastly superior to what we saw in theaters. I honestly feel it's the best movie Zack Snyder has ever directed. It does have its flaws, and for me, one of those flaws is the fact that Bruce Wayne doesn't really feel like a character in that film. He feels more like a plot device. Yeah. And I feel like having this scene would really humanize the character and make him feel more like a living, breathing character, and less of a catalyst to just I'm here to get the Justice League together. So
excellent. You have Wonder Woman.
Yes.
The Wonder Woman theme playing every time she shows up.
Literally playing every time.
Once is fine.
Badass. It's badass, but it does not need to happen every time.
And here's Wonder Woman going to the grocery store. There will be no Icelandic singing and sweater sniffing for Aquaman.
Yeah.
As funny as it was, and we did
it was not intentional.
It was just not intentional. It was a nice thing for a friend of Zack Snyder's, and that's fine, But it's just, but it's just what is that? I know you said that you wanted to do more Atlantis mesh up better with what we saw in Aquaman.
Make the Atlantis that we see in Aquaman, or the Atlantis we see in Aquaman also feel like the same Atlantis in Justice League. Right. Because I also feel like that was the biggest disconnect from anything. is that like it didn't feel quite like the same Atlantis.
Yeah, and I think it would give you a chance to have Jason Momoa take a bigger arc where he can be kind of, he can go through like his sort of brooding loner arc. Yeah, but actually come out the other side of it. Yeah, which I do think he did a little bit towards the end.
But I feel like it needs to be more clear. Yeah. Yeah. Because by the time we see him again in Aquaman, he's very cheery and like he's actually like being friends with the humans
he's accepted it. Yeah,
like I feel like his character arc in Justice League needs to end with him accepting himself.
Yes.
And I actually just had this idea before we started filming. I think it would be cool the last time we see him in Justice League, rather than going back to the Icelandic village, is actually if he goes back to visit his dad at the lighthouse.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, and maybe like have a moment of, I know it's been a while. Yeah, so like there's this idea of him like reconnecting with his family and reconnecting with all of his roots.
Absolutely.
Human and Atlantean, both. And get Willem Dafoe a better wig.
Yeah.
Like the wig he actually wears in Aquaman.
Yeah.
Like, that was awful.
Anna also wants to have an Orm cameo, because that's Patrick Wilson.
Yes.
Why not? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like, that, I feel like that would be better than, I was like, well, Orm says, and you never actually see him do anything.
Okay, we already talked about the character thing.
Yeah.
She said, get out of that funk. Aquaman got his groove back.
Yeah.
Okay, and the final thing is, and I know there will be some people, possibly in the comments, who will not like this recasting. However, we're going to recast Samira because, whatever side of the Johnny Depp...
Well,
honey, can I just say something about it? Why do you always have to shut me down?
Shh, just...
I'm just going to say, I'm not siding with anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, whatever side you fall on that whole situation, to me... both of them need to deal with the issues between them, and I think the best way is to, if you're going to take Johnny Depp away from films, then you should take her away from films too, at least for the time being. Rehab for Johnny Depp, whatever the case, and whatever issues she has to deal with, and deal with it. If you clean yourself up, turn your life around, bring you back in for something else. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. So,
So, also have a Mira who can actually speak with a British accent if that's the route you're going with it. So our recast for Mira is the recast that everyone's been talking about, Emilia Clarke.
Yeah, that seems to work, I think. Yeah. So like I said, I was just trying to get that. I wasn't going to get in a whole big thing about it. All
right. Yeah, please. Yeah. All right.
I just wanted to mention it so that I just didn't want it to seem like, because I wanted to, I'm trying to just try to stay middling on
I was just gonna say it's because I also just don't think she's the best actress.
Well, no, that's true too.
All right, and that's cool. So that's everything.
So that would be the completion of Phase 1. Now, obviously, we haven't fleshed out Phase 2 yet and stuff. That'll be for another video. But obviously, a few that would pop up. Obviously, we would get our Aquaman movie after Justice League. We'd have a Cyborg movie. Those would be two that we would, get into and stuff. And then from there, we'd build other characters and sequels and things like that. So, all right, guys. Hey, so we're 43 minutes in. It's okay. I expected it to go long. But yes, that would be our Phase 1 of the DCEU. As you can see, much more planning, connections, setting the groundwork, which is mostly what MCU did.
We're still clocking in at a less time for 6 movies. 6 movies. Yeah. Then we did talk about 1 movie in the previous one.
That's true.
Yay us!
Yay us! All right.
That's
and try this wine if you like sweet wine. It's very good.
Yes, Sun Shower Riesling. It is a great semi-sweet white wine.
All right. Be safe, everybody. And remember, if you're going to drink, stay at home and drink.
Yes.
Don't drive. And yes, have a good evening. Have a good weekend, rest of your weekend. And good night, all.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.